Hey everybody, I'm Amanda with DevExpress and welcome to What's New for VCL version 15.2 presented by DevExpress CTO Julian Bucknall. Today's webinar will review the newest products and features shipping inside VCL 15.2. All right, thank you so much for joining us. I will now hand things over to Julian.
Thank you, Amanda, and good morning to everyone. My name is Julian Bucknall and as Amanda said, I'm the CTO of DevExpress. Many of you watching today will recognize me as a Delphi developer from the old days. Now, first of all, a quick public service announcement. You have only 7 days to get those Christmas presents you've been meaning to buy, unless you are living in Australia, and I think I've at least one on the line today, where you have only 6 days. Yes, I know, it's scary. Now, today I'm going to be talking about DevExpress's Christmas present to you, our VCL customers. It's version 15.2, and there is such a lot to talk about. I've been enjoying the past week or so interacting with the VCL team here, sorting out what I should know, what we have to talk about, and making sure that everything is polished and ready to go. The code is, and I am just about polished. Now, I think overall, if I had to choose a theme, this release is about getting more of those must-haves into the suite of VCL controls to help you produce modern and exciting UIs for your users. So, without further ado, here are the new controls in this release. First up is the new Office navigation bar. Now, if you're a user of Outlook from Microsoft Office 2013 or 2016, you'll know what I'm talking about. It's the bar that appears at the bottom of the Office window that enables you to switch major modules in the application, so mail, calendar, contacts, tasks, and so on. You'll be seeing this in action in just a moment. Next is our Sparkline support. This is a quick and simple chart that appears in a cell in the grid. No tick marks, no axes. It's a chart boiled down to its very essence. I see them regularly in Google Finance, for example. It's just a quick way for you to visualize a trend. And here's one for all you phone aficionados. It's a wheel picker. You know, the options display is the form of a wheel, and you rotate it up and down. Personally, I come across it most in the iPhone timer page in the clock app. I flick the wheels to set the hours and minutes for the timer for, say, cooking something. This one is important. It's not just you or me who knows how it works. It's your users. Now, finally, on the new control front, it's the activity indicator. This basically shows your user that something is happening even though you don't know how long it will take, obviously for which you'd use a progress bar. So a series of dots that rotate in a circle or that flick across a window. Just think of what happens when you log into your Windows 10 machine in the morning prior to work. As you can see, some very modern UI will be provided by these new controls. Now, of course, it's not all about the new controls. We've expanded the functionality of our existing controls as well. The spreadsheet continues to grow in ability. This time around, we've added features such as conditional formatting of cells, floating text boxes and comments, hyperlinks to other areas of the worksheet or even externally. And we've added a cool new feature to help you, the developer, the ability to generate a ribbon or toolbar for your spreadsheet control. The other big control, if I may call it that, is the rich edit control. It's grown too in functionality with mail merge, document fields, floating pictures and text boxes, headers and footers, page numbering, and so on. Again, we've added the design time capability to generate the ribbon or toolbar for the rich edit control in your app. The ribbon gains the new Office 2016 tablet style, as we call it. This reduces the screen estate used by the ribbon by reducing the size of icons and removing text. You'll see what I mean in a minute. The traditional navbar gains nested groups. You'll see an excellent example of this functionality in a moment. Pivot Grid now allows for the data being analyzed to be exported to an Excel worksheet file, meaning your users can continue analyzing some data in the standard spreadsheet app used worldwide. And finally, at least at today's presentation, the grid gains fixed group rows. Now, for a quick reminder, DevExpress VCL is for RAD Studio 2010 or later only. There is no support for Delphi 7 or Delphi 2007. Mind you, having said that, because of limitations in the compilers shipped with RAD Studio, the rich edit control is even more limited. Think XE or later, including RAD Studio 10, but 64-bit C++ Builder is out across the range. Code blows that compiler or linkers, limited capability for generic classes and methods. I would also note it seems we've reached the limit for 64-bit Delphi as well. Unless the Embarcadero compiler team fix some issues, the rich edit control in 16.1 may not support 64-bit. We'll see. We're working with their team to try and resolve these issues. Anyway, without further ado, it's time to see some of these new controls and features in action. So let me jump to our, oops, let's do this properly, demo application. First of all, we'll start the Mail Client Demo app. Now what we're going to see here is the new Office navigation bar. I'll just let it complete some data generation. As you can see, down here is the bar. I'm sure you recognize it now. And I can click to view the separate modules of this particular application. So here's the calendar, here's the contacts module, the tasks module, for example, all the way back to mail. So as you see, it's a very simple module switcher, if you like, this navigation bar from Office 2013 and 2016. While we're here, let me first of all change the UI to be touch-friendly. So just click that. So we're now in a touch-friendly mode, so the targets on the screen, if you like, are bigger, so allow for finger touches. I do not have a touch screen here, so you'll just have to imagine my mouse cursor is my finger. Now I'm going to click on the calendar. I'll double-click a slot somewhere, don't care, to show the appointment form. Now here I want to show the new wheel picker control as implemented by the date edit control. So let me show you this. Here's the wheel picker control. It allows me to select a date just by moving the wheels up and down. Although this is not a touchscreen, as I just said, you can see how this control is optimized for touch. It works as you expect. I can click and then drag a wheel, and well beyond the boundaries of the control itself. For non-touch devices, the wheel of the mouse, which I'm using right now, serves just as well. Furthermore, in this particular app, we can just cancel that for the moment. We can see the new skins we provided this time around. We're using Office 2013 White, but we have two new skins. Office 2016 base, so we have the colorful skin, and then we have the dark skin. So they're perfect partners, I'd say, for the range we have of the Office 2013 skins, and so on and so forth. Now, having seen them outlined, let's open up the grid and data editors demo here. First up, as you can see, the first demo shows off the Sparkline support. Let me just collapse the ribbon here so that we can see a little bit of I'm running it, for the purposes of the webinar, I'm running it 1280 by 720 or something, so a little bit compressed here. So the demo shows a fairly ornate Sparkline here with two series. Total sales, which is the blue area here, versus individual sales for this particular car model, which is the red area. I can just show one or both. I can also change the series style. The default here is area, as I just said, but I can change the type of the chart to line or point or bar as well. So if we just choose line, we have a normal kind of sparkline line chart, bar chart, for example. So an excellent way of showing off just the basic chart itself. There's no axes, there's no tick values. I have no idea how big this, this particular bar is, for example. Let me choose line again. I have no idea what the maximum minimum of these particular charts. The Sparkline is merely there to indicate some broad overall trend, I'd say, not accurate values per se. Next, let's show you the support now for fixed group rows. Now, prior to 15.2, our grouping used to operate like this. So as you can see, as I scroll the grid, I'll just drag it. As you can see, the grid just scrolls the data and the groups. The data is grouped by payment type and company name. But as you see, when I scroll, the group rows just disappear. So I have no idea now where I am for this particular row, for example, which payment type I'm talking about, which company name I'm talking about. So you can't tell which groups the detail rows belong to. This new fixed group rows feature solves that for once and for all. So now when I, whoops, let me come out of that. Now when I scroll the grid, as you can see, the group rows are fixed at the top. And if I do this gently, once a group completely disappears, the group row will disappear as well. So at any point in time, I can tell which particular which particular group a detail row belongs to. So at the moment on this particular row, I'm in Amex and Development House, for example. So that's the grid stuff. The sparklines, I should have said, can be not only used within a grid, but also used as individual controls. I should have mentioned that earlier. Now, let's have a look at the spreadsheet. So, a couple of valuable new features on the spreadsheet control. Let it come up. Might help if I clicked it, I suppose. Let me again close up the ribbon so we have more screen real estate for the actual demo itself. The first feature is this one. As you can see, we have a comment here. It's a floating text box with a comment. I can move it around a bit. I can grow it. Whoops, missed. I can grow the text box, and I can move it around. It's a comment. So here's how to create one. Let me just click on some cell, and I will right-click. And we have a new option here, the Insert Comment option. So we can type some text here. I don't know, hello world, and press OK. And bingo, as I hover over the cell itself, it says, it gives me a kind of tooltip, if you like, of hello world. By default, it's shown only if you hover, You can change that behavior by essentially right-clicking and saying Show Comment. And so now it's shown just as this comment was shown over here. It's shown all the time. Next up is conditional formatting in the spreadsheet. So again, the ribbon is closed, so that's cool. In this particular worksheet, you can see several different conditional formats in action. Let me just scroll this a teensy bit. So in the change columns, for example, so the exports 1 year change, imports 1 year change, you can see that we have red for less than 0 and green for 0 or more. The balance column shows up and down arrows, whereas the balance change column over here shows data bars. So we have a kind of bluish one going positive and a pinkish one going negative. The exports and imports columns over here show just 5 items with colored backgrounds. So if I scroll, you can see there are just 5 items here. So let me just select one of these colored formatted cells for a moment. Now if I go to the Home tab here, there's an extra option on the ribbon called Conditional Formatting. And as you can see, there are various options now for doing conditional formatting. I can do some kind of color scale and apply a rule to that. Data bars, as we saw just now. Icon sets, we have up, down arrows, and all a whole bunch of other things. So here's up and down and no movement. Top and bottom rules, top 10, bottom, and so on and so forth. So there's a whole bunch of different style of rules we can apply to our conditional formatting. And if you think about what conditional means, is you're going to say, here's a rule, and if the rule is obeyed, do something. So that's what the conditional formatting is all about. So let's just have a look at the current rules for, at the moment we're showing for the current selection. So if you remember, I was on this particular cell, so this particular cell has this rule applied to it. It's a top 5 rule, and the format is red background, and it applies to a particular data range, a particular cell range within the worksheet. I can then have a look at the rules for the sheet as a whole, for example. So here's the green conditional formatting. It's again a top 5, so there are only 5 elements shown, and it applies to D6 to D22. Here's the rule I was just looking at. In fact, let's have some fun. Let's edit this particular rule. And as you see, we have various rule types. We can format all cells based on their values with a data bar, icon set, 3-color scale, 2-color scale, so on and so on. We're currently using a top-bottom rule. I'm going to change it to a bottom rule and say, let's have the bottom 3. And this is the preview. I can change the format if I really wanted to, and I'll click OK. And I'll click OK again. And what I've done is to change this particular conditional formatting rule on this particular column to only show the bottom 3 values in with a red background. So 1, 2, 3 at the top. There we go. So that's conditional formatting. There's a lot of variations on things you can do with conditional formatting inside your worksheets. Something that's excellent for providing quick views of data and a quick understanding of what the information the data is providing. Finally, for our discussion on the spreadsheet control, we'll take a quick look at the new Hyperlink Support. So here's the demo. The worksheet shows some information about some of the albums written by Pink Floyd. The way the worksheet has been organized is that there's the home sheet here. describing the band, and it's got a list of albums down here. The other sheets, as you can see down here, describe the individual albums, and what the designer of this worksheet, and it's a kind of work in progress here, is to add hyperlinks on the home sheet to go to individual album sheets. So I've just selected Dark Side of the Moon. You can see, whoops, that we've jumped to that particular sheet of the worksheet for Dark Side of the Moon. And I can click on here, go back, and if I select animals, for example, and this is not one of my favorites, but we can see the hover text, things like that, and clicking the backlink here gets us back to where we were, so the hover text. Now, if I click one of these linked cells, let's use Dark Side of the Moon. If I right-click, I should say. Oops, I want to go back. If I right-click one of these, you can see new options to edit, open, or remove the link. So let's edit this particular hyperlink. As you can see, the link itself can go to some existing file or web page, so we have an external link. We can link to another place in this document, which is what's happening here, or we can link to supply an email. Now, I don't like the auto-generated tooltip. It's a bit bizarre looking. So let's make a fun reference to something else that's happening this week. So come to the dark side, and now when I hover over this particular link, I get come to the dark side rather than hovering over here, which, you know, is essentially copying what Excel does. So come to the dark side, or should it be come to the dark side? Anyway, that's the spreadsheet, new features for the spreadsheet. I'll be doing one more item for the spreadsheet in a moment. And next, let's move on to what's new in the RTF rich edit control. So the rich edit control is all about providing your users with word processing capabilities. Now, I'll close the ribbon again to give us more room to see what's going on. So let's have a quick look at the new mail merge features for the rich edit control. So here's a simple kind of master detail type database of employees and their customers. So here we have a group of employees, employee, and they each have some kind of customers. We have a mail merge template here on the right that's being populated with the relevant details. So as I click on different items, different customers here on the left, the template is being updated in real time with the data from these particular records. So at the moment we're showing this Stephen Buchanan. Let's jump over to Laura Callahan, for example, and as you can see, I'm now going through her customers. Now, if I open up the Mail Merge tab on the ribbon, we can see some new actions going on here. We have Insert a Merge field, we can show all field codes, and show results. We can merge as well to a new document or a new window. Let me show you the merge fields here. So here we are just showing you the template itself, showing all the fields within the template. So options here, I can right click and I can toggle the field code. So at the moment this is a date field, and this is what the date field looks like. I don't particularly like the 2-digit year, so I'm going to go and quickly change that to a 4-digit year. We'll update the field, and we're now showing a 4-digit year instead of the 2-digit year. So what was I going to do? Oh, yes. And if I now show you the merged new document, what I'm going to do is not, I can merge all the records that I have here in my little database, or I can just use the selected one, and I'm going to merge into a document, and it's going to produce a new window. So here we are. Here's the merged document. The fields have all gone. We just have a pure RTF document, and here I can do any minor changes I want to before saving this particular document and maybe emailing it or whatever it happens to be. So that's the mail merge features of the rich editor. Let's have a quick look now at the header and footer support. Now, you know very well with a document, and you're going to be printing it, or maybe exporting it to PDF or something like that. It's nice to have headers and footers on the pages of your document. Now, if I click the Insert tab here on my ribbon, you can now see the ability to insert headers and footers. So I can insert a header, I can insert a footer. We'll have a look at this bit in a moment. What I want to do instead is to go down to page 2 of this particular document, and just like in Microsoft Word, we have the differentiation between the main content of your document, which is all this stuff here, and the headers and footers. So if I double-click the existing header, there we go. Notice the ribbon now shows a design tab for the header and footers. And you can do all the usual features now for headers and footers. So you can switch between the header and the footer. So let me go to the footer. The footer is down here. It shows our logo. And I can switch back to the header, which says this headers and footers. Notice also the option for a different first page has been selected. So the first page of this document actually doesn't show any header or footer at all. It hasn't been set up with such. And that's generally what you do with a document. The first page is just the first page, and then the second page has some kind of header to say this is a document about such and such, and a footer which gives you the page numbers and all that kind of stuff. So this is also going into the fact that we have page numbering as well. So let's have a bit of fun here. I'm on the header and footer for page 2 here. Let me just jump to the first page. So show me the previous header and footer. There is nothing there, and so I'm going to have a new header for the first page. So Julian's awesome header, because that's the way I roll. And then I can close the header and footer view and go back into the document itself, and notice the first page now has the new header. And I'm back editing the content of the document. Next up, let's have a quick look at the floating object support before we leave the rich edit control. So at the top of this particular document, you can see a couple of types of floating objects. We have images here and here, and we have some text boxes here and here. And here's the main content of the document, and it's just the normal document itself. Now I can right-click on one of these boxes and see a context menu with down here a option for more layout options. So let me click that, and we get the nice little dialog here, where I can tweak the look and feel of that particular floating object. So we have the size of it, the position of it, and how text is going to be wrapping around it, flowing around it, and so on. In fact, let's show you what some of that looks like. Let's go down to page 2 here, and on page 2 we have this image floating box it has a text box underneath, which is the caption, but notice how the text flows around this document. You can specify, the margins between the floating object and the text. So you get a nice bit of white space there, so you're not confusing the floating object with the main text of the document. Excellent. That's about it for the new features in the rich edit controls. Let me just close that one. Now to show you the new ribbon look and feel. So let's open the ribbon control demo. And here you see it straight away. This is the new Office 2016 tablet ribbon. It's essentially tabs and some icons. It's almost toolbar-like, but it still has that ribbon look and feel and functionality. Now, let me optimize it for touch so we get some kind of bigger targets. So as you see, it's a ribbon underneath. I can select items, and we have the normal ribbon look and feel as it shows galleries, and it shows things like this, and I can do things like expand these sub-windows and so on and so forth. It's just designed to minimize the screen real estate. Notice there's, although there's hover text, for example, on these things, we don't actually show in the tablet mode the actual text that usually goes along with a particular ribbon. And it's, I would say it's an excellent halfway point between a toolbar and a traditional ribbon, especially for those users who don't necessarily need the permanently displayed text hints and so on and so forth. So here's a gallery of our themes, our skins. Standard looking thing. I think there was, I can't remember now. Oh yes, here we are. I can grow this. So this is just showing some different colors I can apply to text. This is a new color gallery that we've added in 15.2, and we can go to a complete color editor as well. So that's the new tablet ribbon, or the tablet view, Office 2016 tablet view for the ribbon. Next, let's jump over to the navigation or navbar example demo here. Again, I'll shut the ribbon, I don't really care. Now we're going to have a quick look at our new accordion view of our navbar. So this auto trader demo shows the ability for the navbar to work as an accordion view. So I can, there are nested groups in here, so I can collapse the nested groups in this main parameters group, or open it again. We have another body group with a set of nested subgroups. So the main parameters has these three nested groups: price, trademark, transition types, and they can each individually be expanded or collapsed, and each of them contain different controls. So we have a kind of range bar here. We have some checkboxes here, for example, and here we have radio button. Notice, though, as it's kind of a bit hard, these kind of things with GoToWebinar. As the groups are collapsed and expanded, notice the kind of smooth animation we've added. It smoothly pushes down and it smoothly collapses. There's a nice animation going on in the background. I don't quite know how well it shows your end, but my end, certainly, it's very smooth for me. The Photo Studio example here shows even more capabilities for the nested groups. So let me just bring that up. So this one has image galleries as part of its groups, so I can move them up and down. I can, expand or collapse them. And this particular accordion view here shows that expanding one group will close any associated nested groups along with it. So by opening the color nested group, I'm closing the filter nested group. Let's open up the brightness contrast, and the color one closes. So that's another feature of the accordion view, is the ability to only have one nested group open at one time. Finally, let's close these demos. Finally, let's open up Delphi 10. It's time for a quick diversion into the IDE to see a great new design time feature we've added for a spreadsheet and rich edit control. First of all, I'm going to create a new project. It's going to be a standard VCL Forms application. And once it comes up, here we are. Here's the form. I'm just going to grow it a bit so we have a bit more room. And I'm going to drop a spreadsheet onto that. I can't spell spread. I'm going to drop a spreadsheet control onto this form. There it is. Grow it a little bit. Doesn't really matter. I'm going to align it in a moment. Well, there it is. But for real, we should have some UI that helps the user actually use the spreadsheet. I can't say I would be able to use the spreadsheet without some other UI along with it to, for some kind of action that I can do on the spreadsheet, a ribbon, say. So let me right-click on the control, and we have this new option now called Generate Ribbon Toolbar UI. I will click. The dialog pops up, and it comes pre-populated to basically create a new ribbon and create a new action list. Now, if I already had a ribbon or action list, I could use that instead. I can either use the ribbon or a bar manager, and if I had an action list, there would be a list of action lists here that I could also use. Here, I've got nothing apart from a spreadsheet control on the form, so let's create the whole lot. There's a whole bunch of categories here to create into the action list and to bind to the spreadsheet control. So let me click OK, and I'll create new ones all over. Let's give it a bit of time to not only create the new control, but it's also going to do things like create an image list of the icons for the ribbon, very necessary, and so on. And obviously creating the action list and binding the actions between the ribbon and the spreadsheet control. So the ribbon's been created now. Let me now set the alignment of the spreadsheet to client. And now I'm just, because I like that, I'm just going to run this application. First thing it's going to say, well, which skins you want. It's a demo, I'm just going to accept all the skins. So it's going to compile all the skins inside the application. So we'll just talk amongst ourselves while Delphi compiles the application here. Dum-de-dum-de-dum. And it's linking it. So we are there. And now we're going to run the application. And here it is. So as you saw, all I did was drop a spreadsheet on a form, generate the UI, the ribbon UI for it, and I have a good, passable spreadsheet application. Let me just have some fun here. Let's have a sum of D1 to D4. There we go. So yes, it's a spreadsheet. Then just to show that the ribbon is actually bound to the spreadsheet, let me change the font size of these particular cells. And as you can see, the ribbon and the spreadsheet are interacting together. They're bound together. Actions are passing, flowing from one to the other. And this design time feature is basically ideal for you to save you some time in generating all this stuff manually. So when you're setting up a spreadsheet control, or indeed a rich edit control, this will be a real time saver for you. So let's close Julian's spreadsheet, because you know, me being able to save all that. So let me shut that down. And it's any questions. Now, I have some preemptive answers here. No, there is no FireMonkey support, and none is currently planned. This has been my statement for the past, I don't know how long now. We're not planning any FireMonkey support. My next point to you is please upgrade from Rad Studio 2010, even possibly early XE versions as soon as possible. It may come to the point where we drop support for Rad Studio 2010, probably not in 2016, but who knows? I don't know what Embarcadero are going to do with Delphi 10 or Rad Studio 10 and how they're going to progress things. So be aware, there's only so many past versions we can support. 64-bit C++ builder, please ask Embarcadero to fix their bug. We can't support it with the rich edit. And I just have to say thank you. Amanda?
Hey, Julian.
Hello.
So thank you. All right, so we did have a question come in from Raul wondering if the new cool features for the spreadsheet control, like conditional formatting and KPIs, might be added to the grid, CX grid or pivot grid.
It's certainly something that we could look into. Great feedback. Yeah, be nice to have. So we okay. Just one thing. For all the people on this particular webinar, if you go to your download center, you'll be able to see that 15.2 was released while I was talking, essentially. So now it's been released. We shall be talking within the team about features for next year, for 2016, for 16.1, for 16.2. And obviously feedback like that would be great to have while we're making our plans.
All right, does Rich Edit have the capability to export to HTML?
Does it have the capability to export to HTML? That's a, I don't know, to be honest. The team, oh, did I close the demo? I did. Hang on a minute. Let me open up the demo center again. Well, let's find out. Right here and now. Start off, and then do we have? I think we don't. No, we don't. We don't have that facility yet, unless the team are going to jump in and say, Julian, do this. No, doesn't look like it.
They say, the team's saying Rich Edit does not support HTML.
There we go.
There you go.
Proof on the screen. There we go.
From Jim, did you display the activity indicator? He can't remember.
No, I didn't. I couldn't find the demo for it, and basically ran out of time. I think there was one point where it showed just briefly, but I can't find it again now. Apologies for that. If you go to our What's New page, let me show you. There's a nice little animated GIF which shows it off. But I didn't see, and I think I just ran out of time in preparing for the webinar. So let me just find that for you. Hold on a moment. while I'm doing this, next question. How about that?
From Mark, and I don't remember what you were saying. He says at the beginning you talked about a Christmas gift. What did you mean by that?
We released 15.2.
The release?
Yes. Hello.
Ho, ho, ho.
Merry Christmas. Ho, ho, ho. Yeah, very good. Yes, it's released. It's there in your download center. Sorry, mind went blank. Where are we? Let's copy that. Come over here to Edge. Okay, let's go here. Come on.
And while we're waiting, Steph is asking, and the team, I would assume, would answer this, is exporting to HTML or PDF on the books? Is it planned? Is it a possibility?
It's one of those things where if we get enough feedback from people saying, I really, really, really need RTF to HTML export, then we'll certainly look into it. I've said this in the past, actually. What tends to happen these days is the WinForms team, put in a new feature into their product, and the VCL team take a look at it and say, yeah, we could do that, or yeah, let's leave it. So if we get enough feedback for RTF to HTML, we already have, if you like, the design of the export feature. We just have to code it in Delphi. So VCL 15.2 is ready now. Let me jump down to Sparkline, wheel picker, activity indicator. So I don't know how well this is coming across. So this is an animated, I don't know whether it's a GIF or whether it's an actual thing, but we have gravity dots. We have the kind of horizontal dots you see in Windows 10 an awful lot these days. And then this, which I've seen used in Google Mail, for example, Gmail on the iPhone. So there's 4 separate views of an activity indicator. There we go.
Let's see. Are there any future plans for also auto-generating a ribbon for a TCX grid control, like options view, option selection, export functions, etc.?
Again, great feedback. We haven't decided on major features for 2016, so now we've shown you, if you like, that the generating a ribbon for Spreadsheet and Rich Edit is a great feature to have. Then let's see how we can add the same kind of feature to our other controls, our other major controls, like the grid. Grid's a great example. Agreed.
All right. I think that's it.
Okay, let me just throw up my slide here. If you do have feedback, please, please, please either send it to support@devexpress.com. It's there, so that we can monitor great ideas that attendees here have been having. Or send it to me and I'll pass it on to the team. As I say, now we've released 15.2, the team are going to basically relax, have a couple of beers, and tomorrow they will be starting the process for thinking about 2016. Or not, maybe Monday.
Yeah, maybe Monday. The team does say that the Rich Edit control will support HTML in the future. So it's on their radar.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Julian. And like he mentioned, VCL 15.2 is available, became available during this webinar. Great timing. You can download it now. It is available in the Download Center. And as mentioned before, today's webinar will be available later on our DevExpress YouTube channel. And I am posting that link in our chat box as we speak. All right, that is it for this one. Thank you so much to Julian. Thank you all for joining us. And of course, thank you for choosing DevExpress. Bye-bye.